My name is Bruce Martin Jr., and I work here at Longhouse Funeral Home, a company that's been opened by my father and my mother, and we incorporated back in 2009. Longhouse Funeral Home is the first funeral home, and I believe actually funeral service, that is on the actual Eastern Band of Cherokee controlled property, trust property, or the reservation, as a lot of folks call it. Longhouse was kind of a ideal that was born by a dinner conversation after we had a family friend pass away. My mother had gone to that funeral service and didn't see some things that she expected, so that kind of started back in 2004, and from that point forward we just kind of talked about the services that we needed here on the reservation, and a funeral home was one. So I went to mortuary school while my folks actually searched out property on the reservation that would be a usable space big enough to hold a funeral home, parking, and that kind of a thing. So what we're in right now, the room I'm in, is a old dining room to a building built in 1935 for a school. It's one of the community schools, and it's one of those structures that still remain. And so it was large enough, and with quite a bit of effort, we were able to revive it, bring back a lot of what was in the past, and of course a lot of renewed stuff. So we had to do a lot of painting, a lot of different remodeling, that type of thing for the property itself, and worked it from that point forward. I exited school in 2006. From that point forward, it was more or less kind of gathering the information necessary to open a funeral home, equipment, licensing, that type of thing. So upon graduating school, I obtained a license in Virginia, and then later in North Carolina. And at that point in time, we actually moved into the building that was already being worked on by Bruce Martin Sr., my father, and my mother, Nancy Martin. In 2009, I think it was, we approached the Cherokee Business Development and Sequoia Fund for a actual assistance, not only in searching out licensing, business plan assistance, that type of thing, but also for monetary assistance as well. So we were able to gain that with their help and go ahead and move into the larger renovations, equipment buying, purchasing, that type of thing. And so with that move forward in 2009, July 10th, we actually had an open house and started our first year. We have just surpassed our second year now, this past the 10th of the July 11th. Longhouse is a full service funeral home. We do not actually have a crematory on site, but we offer that service as well through contracted services. But as far as services go, we do everything from a cremation, in-ground burial, as far reaching out to burial at sea or any other requests that might be made from our local members. The service that we provide are what we consider nowadays a standard funeral, but with respect to our local culture, we offer our enrolled members and anyone from any other ethnic background or cultural background a unique funeral tailored to them as well, with respect to their cultures, rites, and rituals. We actually not only look to our local enrolled members of the Eastern Band of Cherokee as a market, but the outside reservation townships as well. We invite anyone here to come in and do any service that they would like to do, be it the most religious to the most humanistic absent of any religion, with respect to all people. As a springboard, my mother, Nancy Martin, had opened and still operates Native Clans Casket Company. Native Clans Caskets is a company that is particular about a market for the enrolled members of every tribe throughout the United States and abroad, not just anybody here locally at the Eastern Band level. Native Clans is a company that creates a casket that is standard in look on the outside, but inside the motif is done with a Pendleton material, or Pendleton blankets that people most recognize. These woolen materials are recognized not just in Cherokee but throughout the United Nations as symbolic among Indian nations as well.